a hashtag Me Too in the comments.
And don't be sitting over there acting like y'all.
Oh, you about to tell them what you told me?
Look.
What's up, everybody? I'm Jay.
And I'm Tay.
Ooh, baby, and welcome to our channel. And
welcome.
Yeah, we got a little bit juicy stuff for y'all tonight. And we're going to be talking about how it was the first 90 days. We got 3 topics back.
Yeah.
3 topics. Ooh, topic number 1. Here we go. What was the most challenging within the first 90 days? We got a couple of notes here that we're going to run through. The first thing we got is roles of husband and wife. Too many cooks in the kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
Why was that challenging?
I don't know. You tell me. Why was it challenging?
Man, you know what? So when we moved in and we all moved up underneath one roof, it was like, as a husband, right? I was trying to learn my role as a husband. Now, I already knew about all the scripture and all of that stuff about what a husband is supposed to do, right? But actually executing it and walking it out was something a little new and different. I realized that, I had some pride, some selfishness, some self-centeredness going on. I had things my way, in my head that I wanted it done this way. And if it was done another way, even though we might have gotten the same outcome, that was a little challenging. And just as a husband, to love her unconditionally. Because I think in this world, we grow up in this world where it's like, oh, well, if they do something to you, do something to them. You scratch my back, I'm going to scratch, a little tit for tat type thing, right? And so it's very conditional, right? And I think, honestly, and it's just me, babe, when we met, hey, you even kind of co-signed on this a little bit, I was already walking in the mindset of a husband, like in some of my thoughts, but really,
it was executing.
It kind of changes the game. Like, okay, here's the thing, right? When we first met, we weren't living under the same roof. Right? Even though I was walking as a husband, I was doing things that I was a husband. You didn't have to go and say, oh, let me go date this boy or this young guy or this guy, and you can change him. Right? Because a lot of times that's what a lot of women think. They get into a relationship, dude's kind of trash, and they're like, oh, well, you know what? I can change him. You didn't really have to change me in that aspect when you met me, because I was already walking in that role. Right? But once we got underneath the same roof, it was a little challenging. Because then I've got Tay calling me out on some things that, I didn't really appreciate. I didn't like. Hey, but you know what? She wasn't lying, right? It's not like those things were untruthful. They were just kind of hard to hear, and I didn't really live. I was living solo, right, for years, right? So I didn't have anybody behind closed doors calling me out on stuff. So it was a little new to me. What do you think about your role as a wife?
I would say first 90 days. It was a lot happening. Because for me, I was giving up my space to come and live in your space and had to call your space mine and or ours, and it's home, and it's just, and it was always that knowing that we didn't get it together type thing. I don't know. And I was leaving my comfort to share space with you. It didn't hit me until it happened. Before it happened, I was like excited for it all to, come.
It was
for it
the
all
idea.
to happen. Yeah. And then when it happened, it was like a big shock.
Do you think?
Because I don't know if I was walking necessarily as a. I mean, I was always like a. I don't know, babe. That's a hard one because I wasn't. My walk was not perfect. I was new to my faith.
Is my walk perfect?
No, it's not.
So you can't say that.
I
Oh
know,
well, my
but
walk wasn't perfect, implying like, oh, I just had it all figured out.
I
Well, then,
always thought he had
Dude.
it figured out.
man,
Like
she
I
even
never
told
seen
me.
a man walk in execution the way that he walked and executed until we moved under one roof. He still walked and executed in the house. It was just we were clashing because I wasn't walking. I said I wasn't walking as a wife because I had been on my own. And it was me with my kids, and I played the role of mom, and there's no dad, you know? So it's like me for everything. So we're both battling for the same role, not knowing that role was only for you. That's what it was like.
That job description was already taken.
Yeah, it was like I was battling him for that male role. Like I was like, look, I felt like my way was the right way. Man, our communication is all jacked up. It was like completely jacked up, truthfully.
Yeah, and it would like really, it would do something to me. Like whenever you would, whenever we would be in conflict, and you would just, you wouldn't say that I was this perfect person, but you would heavily imply like, oh well, I'm not perfect. Meaning like, oh well, you think you're so perfect. And I would always say from, right off the bat though, even when we first met, like I was like, man, I don't think I feel like I'm Paul, right? The chief of all sinners, the worst of the apostle. Like I am nothing, right? But she had it in her mind that I was just, and I would always tell you like don't put me on a pedestal.
Yeah, you did.
Like, dude, I'm still in my flesh. It's just, we met when we were at,
Yeah.
You kind of touched on the next bullet point, which was sharing the same space with no attachment or control for you specifically.
Yeah.
Because you said that what you were going through, you gave up. What you knew as the norm for how many years?
Too long. Just always been like, I've always been the more what would you call
Dominant?
that? More dominant one in the relationship. And
Every single one of your relationships.
every single one of
Not like
them,
she's got a whole list, right? But
No,
just the
but-
ones that she was in.
I was more dominant. Like I was a dominant. Like my last relationship was 6 years. I was a dominant for 6 years. Nothing came in, nothing went out without me. A stamp of approval, right? Like it's weird. So now
But you get used to it,
yeah.
right? You got used to
I
operating like
was
that.
used to that, and I thought it was normal. It was okay. It was normal because it worked, right?
But
mean
did it
was
work?
right. No, it didn't work.
Did it
but,
actually work?
No.
Because if we're gonna keep it real and transparent, you were going through a lot of mental stuff too,
Yeah.
right?
I
Having to
had-
walk in that
yeah.
role, high depression.
High anxiety, fear, because being like the breadwinner, that was always a tough space to be in because you were highly dependent upon. so now I'm not just dependent on by the kids.
You even had some anxiety medication, though, that you were
I
taking
was
at
on
one time,
anxiety
right?
medication. I was, yep. During the pandemic, like right before the pandemic, actually, I was on some anxiety medication, and I even had to have like sleeping medication to be prescribed to me so that I could get sleep at night, because I wasn't sleeping at all. My brain, I would go to sleep but my brain would still be active, so I'd wake up super tired. It was really bad.
Isn't that something?
really
I
bad.
wonder. I wonder how many women that are operating in a role that they should not be operating in experience that same type thing that you went through. Because that's deep.
I think it's pretty common. I think it's a lot of women out there doing that, and it's not necessarily because they have to, but they kind of choosing to because of that independence thing.
Do you think too, like, oh, by the way, if you're loving this conversation and the transparency of it, smash that like button, share it with somebody who you think could relate to our story, and don't forget to subscribe. But do you think that because of that independence type mindset that's been pushed in society, that women are just, stepping up, that equality type thing where women can do everything a man can do, and you don't need no man, you don't need no husband, you can do it all. Do you think that affects how they pick a partner? Meaning that women will pick a partner that they can easily dominate and control because control was robbed from them at an early age. So now, but in that mindset, there's no respect for the man.
I did not have no respect for my ex. I can openly say that. I made him feel like he was less than. And I know I did. Because I stayed under pressure. I stayed feeling like I was drowning. But and I understand why it was that way, because that was never supposed to be my role. That was never supposed to be.
But it wasn't his role either, because he wasn't your husband.
He wasn't my husband. No, and that's the thing. I was not married to this guy. I was engaged to him, but we didn't get married. I knew he wasn't my person. And God kept trying to tell me to shut that door, but I kept opening it, kept leaving it open. Well, maybe he'll get it together. Maybe. Just maybe. And
boy, we stubborn as people.
We are very stubborn. And that just wasn't what it was. But I know that I hurt him.
Man.
And I can openly and honestly say that, because we're being very transparent. I know that I hurt him because I felt like I don't need you. That's how I felt. Like, I don't need you. You're here by default at this point, because I mean, what are we doing?
Man.
We're like you're splitting a couple of bills. This house is in my name. Car is in my, it's just me, mine.
Right.
That's the selfish.
Hey, if y'all ever been in this type of situation, if y'all ever have done if any of this sounds familiar, I want y'all to hit a hashtag Me Too in the comments.
And don't be sitting over there acting like y'all.
Oh, you about to tell them what you told me? Like,
look, don't be over there acting like y'all ain't got no trash.
Man, because we busting eyes wide open. But you know what, though?
Out.
That was the big struggle, though, because when you came over here, you had no attachment to what you had there, right? Mm-hmm. You did have kind of your feet kind of in the sand as a grip. But when you came over here, everything was in my name.
That's when it changed, y'all. Y'all don't even know. That's when it changed for me, because when that
you had to
happened,
give up all control. You didn't know how to. That was tough though.
Yes, and that was very tough. And y'all know I just was laid off from my job, and what I've been struggling with that, what I was struggling with that, is trusting. I didn't even realize how much I struggle with trust. I did not know that, how much I'm struggling with trust, because the enemy is playing with my mind right now. Like he's telling me, like feeding me these little pieces, and it's annoying, and that's what irritates me, because I'm like, one minute I'm fine, the next minute I'm kind of down, and it's like that down is, well, this is, yeah, this is in his name or whatever, you know.
Ain't that something?
And
How
it's
the
like,
enemy speaks truth, but also wraps it in lies, because Scripture says that he's the father of lies. And yes, even though there are things in my name, what he omits to tell her, and maybe he omits to tell you, but in a marriage covenant, like God created and like Jesus reinforced, is a son will leave his mother and father and be joined with his wife, and the two shall become one. So the devil don't tell her that, hey, you're one, right? We operate as one. What's mine is hers. What's hers is mine. My body isn't my own body. It's her body, and her body isn't her own body. It's my body.
Oh, we're gonna get into that too. No, I'm just
Man, hold up. Don't hit him. Don't hit him. Don't hit him too much, babe. All right. Yeah, so that's a big thing. That was a struggle.
Yes.
Man, we battled.
Big.
Well, we
big.
butted heads, boy. It was your way against my way, and I would, here's the thing. She used to call me Mr. Know-It-All. Actually, she still does kind of call me Mr. Know-It-All. But
My
here's the thing.
husband is smart though. He know a lot of stuff.
Look, I'm not an expert at everything, but I do know a lot of like random stuff, and I do know, I'm just a curious guy. And here's the thing, when something sparks my interest as a hobby wise, or just interest, I am like one extreme to the next. I am all in. I will research for days and days and days until I get bored, until I know all the ins and outs, to where I don't even necessarily need to put my hands on it to execute. I will have so much knowledge about this that I could walk out there and do it, right? And never done it before. So if anybody wants me to look at their medical chart, just hit me up.
No, he ain't. No, that ain't it. Go see a doctor. But
Look, y'all, I've watched 20 hours on how to read a medical chart on YouTube. So I pretty much got my PhD at this point.
boy,
Man, I'm telling you. But coming into my space though too, like sharing the same space was different, because really, this is something that I have built up myself solo, right? And we're being completely transparent here, and it's like not just her coming in, but Brayden and Chloe coming in, and they have operated a certain way, right? We're not talking about good or bad, whether it was this way or that way, anything like that. We're just talking about it's very different. Very different, extremely different, right? Me, I had two dogs inside the house, right? There was some dog hair, right? That's a whole nother topic, right? But we got that taken care of, right? And we butted heads on that. But when they came in underneath this one roof, this was still my safe place. This was my castle, so to speak. And, I felt, hey, you know what? All transparency, right? It was very intrusive, because I had been on my own for so long. And even though we were married, and even though we were now a family unit, having multiple people coming into your space, operating as they did over there, but I'm over here in the mindset of understanding roles, right? Children are children. I'm not barbaric to where I think children are seen, not heard. Because in our vows, right, we have 4 pillars in this home, right? Now, we failed at all 4 of them. That's neither here nor there. But coming in, it was a big deal to me, right? Even though I might be a little sloppy here and there in the house, I looked at it as this is my house. If I want to be sloppy in that area, I'm going to be sloppy. But you, as outsiders coming in, there needs to be a little respect for my crappy stuff. Because when she moved in, I didn't have hardly jack, right? It was a straight bachelor pad. I didn't have any of this decorative stuff. I'm not a female, right? My decorative sense is like -10, right? So praise God that he presented me with Tay to come in. And let me tell you something. If I was to show you this house, right, with what she was walking into, she has definitely done miracles to make this house a home. And I'm talking about, we are crammed like tuna. No, not like tuna. That's not tuna. Like sardines in a sardine can up in this 1,647 square foot home. 3-2, 5 people. And that's a lot. She had her work cut out for her. But she's done amazing. She's helped. And
that used to be a struggle too, because I was not used to this being like cramped, so to speak. Like I'm used to having like space. Well, yeah, it was a big change. Like kitchen space, bigger kitchen. Just everything was it was all a change for me. So, but I've adjusted.
It's literally been
with my poo now.
Man, she says that. She says that, but
I will.
It's been a rough year and a half.
It has been.
It has been.
I love. I wouldn't change it, and I love you even more today than I did then.
Because I went through the longest feeling like, because as a husband, I'm supposed to provide, protect, be financially savvy, be, the disciplinary, the structure, I'm supposed to build, I'm supposed to pour in, I'm supposed to do all this stuff, right? And look, I know what I brought to the table was a 3-bedroom, 2-bed. When I purchased this house, this wasn't my forever house, right? This was going to be a rental, but it was just me. It was just me and Ari, right? So this is what I had, right? And so for over a year, I lived like what I brought wasn't good enough.
Yeah.
It didn't mean anything. It was trash. It was really all I heard constantly was constant complaining that it wasn't good enough. We needed this, and I even told you in some of our arguments, I was like, I know, like I am not happy with how we're cramped either, but what do you want me to do right now? Mm-hmm. Like it needs to be planned. We can't just sell, go buy, and we got credit to think about. We got down payment. We got selling the home. We got to fix the house up.
It's all a process.
Like it's this massive process, yeah. And I felt so rushed and unappreciated.
Yeah.
That it was causing stress on me, and she didn't know, right? Until much later,
right.
We disclosed a lot of stuff, and that's one thing that Regen has kind of helped us. One, learning communication, forgiveness, and all that other stuff. But man, it was rough. And then, there's a whole bunch more, and I'm sure we're going to do many more videos of all the stuff that we're going to think about. This isn't the only video of just what we've been through. This was just the first 90 days, and I know we've touched on over a year and stuff like that. But yeah, the first 90 days, it was crazy. Much less talking about food, grocery shopping, and nutrition. When we met, I was this house didn't have any sugar in it, and I say any sugar, it was very, very, very minimal.
It was minimal sugar.
It was dang near non-existent.
It wasn't completely non-existent.
But it was very close to non-existent.
It was there. It was here.
Okay, in comparison.
In comparison to my house, we had Oreos, we had Chips Ahoy, we had some junk food, right? Like, no, that one time my mom then went and bought all that
That
stuff.
had nothing to do with your mom bringing that. Before mom.
Before my mom.
Guys, I blew her man, I was over there at her house one evening after dinner. Her parents left, and I saw honey buns, those strawberry roll, just
I seen them at your house.
Look at my hot wife, guys. Look at my hot wife.
All right.
Mm-hmm. All right. Hey, guys. Thank you so much for watching part 1. I hope you enjoyed it. Boy, we are digging in deep with some feelings, ain't we? But hey, stay tuned to part 2. We're going to go even deeper and swim out in the 10-foot area. Oh, yeah.
I can't swim without a
I know.
floating.
I hope y'all can swim, because we about to get it perfect.